the 3 in the name of Deputy Catherine Connolly. 30 seconds to...
Taoiseach, Minister, I'm asking you to make a statement in relation to the public service card, and I know you've addressed this earlier on, but I'd ask you to make a statement in terms of the serious concerns raised by the Controller and Auditor General's report, which you referred to, but you didn't refer to what he highlighted, number 1, in relation to the serious concerns by the Data Commissioner, and what you have learned from that report and from the Data Commissioner, given that this project started in 2004, now it's 13 years later, and we still have no legislation. Thank you.
Legislation for this bill. Let's be absolutely clear. The Social Welfare Act that I referred to earlier on, that has been revisited on many, many occasions, provides the legislative foundation for this bill. What I referred to earlier on was a separate piece of legislation that will look to address the use and sharing of data in the future, as the opportunities and need to grow data will only grow. But this bill has absolutely firm legislative footing in the Social Welfare Consolidation Act of 2005, Section 263, that has been revisited now by the Oireachtas on many, many occasions. I have already said, Deputy, that the matters that have been raised by the Data Protection Commissioner that were raised with the Department of Social Protection in particular, our public answers to all of those queries will shortly be published.
I have to say, Minister, that I'm most unhappy with your answer, because if you read the Public Accounts Committee and the report, you will see that there was no business case in relation to this, no business case whatsoever. The costs were never evaluated, the positives were never evaluated, and the estimate is 60 million. I'm sure that's of concern to you in your role in public expenditure. 60 million for a project that had no business case, that was ad hoc, with no discussion for the implications of it, and particularly in relation to the legislation. Yes, we have the Social Welfare Act, which you referred to, and in previous, but what we're waiting on is the promise bill in relation to the storage, the collection of data, and more importantly, the sharing of data. There's a referral in various answers to memos of understandings that don't exist. And really what I'm asking you, Minister, is to grasp the seriousness of what's happened here, the rollout really of an identity card without any discussion, any honesty or any acknowledgement of the implications in terms of privacy and the sharing of data, and particularly in view of what came up on the Public Accounts Committee.
Appalling set of allegations from the Deputy. To accuse ministers and the Oireachtas in engaging with this issue in a dishonest way. My understanding of the Deputy's political philosophy is that you favour the role of the state in trying to provide better services for people. And I would have thought, therefore, that you would favour the role of the state in trying to provide those services in a more efficient manner. You inferred, more than inferred in your contribution there a moment ago, that the legislative underpinning for this bill, for this card, was not there. I've explained to you very clearly that it is. And then you went on to make the entirely unfounded claim that this is a national identity card. You are, as I and other ministers have explained on many different points, and I'm happy to do so again, this is not a national identity card. You are not required to carry it. In many cases, it is an offence if such identification is sought after you. Of you, and for a Deputy, as I said, that I thought was in favour of the state playing a bigger role in people's lives and trying to make better use of public services, I would have thought, Deputy, you could see the merit in this approach as opposed to making the entirely unfounded allegations that you just have.
Sorry. Just let me quote from the public accounts from the Controller and Auditor General that the Department commenced work 2016 on issues around data sharing governance and the security of data, which will be key elements of legislation currently being developed. I've asked you to address the ad hoc nature of the project that will cost 60 million. You haven't addressed one issue. You haven't addressed the issue of why it has taken so long to come up with the legislation that I've referred to. And you've sidetracked onto my political ideology and other matters that are absolutely immaterial. Now, if you could come back as Minister and address the issue of 60 million for a project in an ad hoc manner without a business case, what have you learned from that? What have you, when will the legislation come before us? What have you learned from your engagement with the Data Commissioner? And if it's an why do we need it for passport, for driving licence and for all the other services if it's not a national identity card? And I don't like the word allegations. I don't make allegations. I deal in facts. I read my reports and I'm quoting from the report.
The House will show that you made accusations in relation to the honesty and faithfulness by which this card was rolled out. And I called them out for what they are. Deputy, you're not the only person in this House that is motivated by good intentions and is trying to find ways to ensure that public services are made available to people in a more efficient way. You made a set of allegations that I rebutted. You have made claims in relation to this being a national identity card, which I reject, which are unfounded in any claim that I or the government have made. We are looking to make this card available to ensure that public services can be better provided to people, to ensure they don't have to provide the same set of information and identity on multiple different occasions to different state bodies to provide services of the same state. That's why we're making this card available. And as I have said to you, matters that would be raised by the Data Protection Commissioner, we will deal with in public. And I will come back to the Deputy with the detail of a response that any government department made to the concerns of the Controller and Auditor General. And I will do that, but I will do so in acknowledgement of the fact that this is a card that has been rolled out legally, that the law in relation to us has been debated on many occasions here, or had the opportunity to be debated on many occasions here within the Oireachtas.
Thank you, Minister.